Hi everyone, welcome to my thank card. It's Friday. I started off doing a one layer card, but I couldn't resist. I had to put it on a Night of Navy backing, and I wanted to use my Scallop Ribbon Border punch as well. I tried really hard, but I just couldn't do it. But I'll show you the process so you can see how it can just be a one layer card. Alright, so I've just got an A4 piece of cardstock of the Night of Navy and cut it in half and then scored in the middle. I've got some Whispher white cardstock. Now how I've created just this white here, I've just gotten two post-it note holders, like a post-it note holder, and I just got some post-it notes. I estimated how big I want the sponging to be. I'm just using the green as a guide. I'll just put that down. Like that. And then I'm going to have it fairly big. The strip, because it is the feature of the card. Alright, so I'm going to have it around that wide. Okay, now why I put post-it note holders is because I'm going to be using some sponging. So the sponging technique for this, I'm going to use Not Quite Navy and a little bit of Bashful. Okay, so just grabbing my sponges, I'm just going to ink it up, and I'm using Bashful Blue, and I'm just going to burnish it gently along the Whispher white. I'm going to use Bashful Blue towards the middle, and then the Not Quite Navy now I'm going to burnish it coming in because I don't want to lift the post-it note and get the ink under the post-it note. So I'm just gently starting off the cardstock onto the post-it note, then working my way in. Just working it until you're happy with the colour and the amount of colour and the ink on there. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. So it doesn't look like much at the moment, but as you can work it as much or as little as you like. I might actually go in and just put some more Bashful Blue in the middle and just fill it up like that. Okay, so now using my Spritzer Tool, I've put my Not Quite Navy marker and I'm putting it the tip right up against it, and then I'm going to spritz over it. I'm just spritzing some ink on the top. Okay, just to add a little effect to the card. Now I'll bring it closer, and you can see the spritzing on there. Okay, so then I'm going to heat emboss using white heat embossing. I'm using this beautiful like floral stamp, and it's from the Thoughts and Prayers stamp set. It is double mounted and there's some beautiful wordings in here. as well, and then it's also got the beautiful tree. So I'm going to ink it up using my Versamark ink pad. Get that nice and coated and juicy. Then I'm going to stamp it down. And grabbing my white embossing powder that I keep in these Tupperware containers. My little spoon. I'm just going to pour it over the image and flick it off. Okay, get rid of any excess that you don't want there. You need to fill in. Okay, then let's heat it up. Grabbing my heat gun, I'm just going to heat emboss. Just here up in the back there just to help with the warping of the cardstock. And then I'm going to peel this off. I need to just put that into place. So this is what it looks like so far. So it's just the central focus is in the middle of the card. Now to make that pop even more, using the marker bit, the point from this marker pen, I'm going to go in, I'll zoom in so you can have a look what I'm going to do. Except try and not make it blurry in the meantime. I'm going to draw lines underneath each petal. I don't know if you can see it closely in this card, but I've actually drawn underneath. See how I've just created like silhouettes underneath? Just to make it stand out. So and I think it just makes that heat embossing stand out a little bit more. So I'll go ahead and finish this off and you can see the final look. Now also what I'm doing in between, in the little flowers, I am colouring in the flower and then the little petal, the stem bit, and so just putting a bit of colour to make it pop even more. And see how much of a difference that makes, and it pops the flower right up. So here is the finished look to the card, and just by adding that extra marker element to that card, it's just made that heat embossing really pop out. Alright, so now grabbing some not quite navy cardstock, or not of navy, sorry. I'm going to use my Scallop Ribbon Border punch. This is such a great investment, this punch. If you can't get every colour of ribbon, and I'm a bit of a ribbon fan, sometimes just adding this extra element that looks like a ribbon gives it that little bit of an edge to the card. So okay, now I'm going to also cut this in half right down the middle using my paper trimmer. Alright, so I'm going to adhere this down just using some Tombow Mono adhesive. And I'm just going to slightly dab it on there if it's going to come out. Here we go. You don't want to squeeze too hard. It's a fairly sticky liquid adhesive, and it allows a little bit of time for you to adjust, but also quick enough for it to dry so you're not adjusting too much to it. Okay, so that's the bottom done. Do the top. Alright, just adhering that down. Okay, so far I'll snip that off with my paper snips. In the meantime, I'm just going to let that dry for a couple of seconds before I use the paper snips, and I'm going to grab my, you can use Get Well, Thank You, Happy Birthday, Celebrate Today from this perfectly penned stamp set. And this is such a nice stamp set. Great sentiments. I've done a thank you one, so this one I might use as a Get Well. And I'm going to stamp that in not quite navy. So ink that up nice and good. And stamp the sentiment to the bottom right. I love clean out stamping because I can see exactly where I'm going to put this stamped image. Alright, so let's give it a trim. And adhere this down to the base. Now, isn't that just beautiful? So you don't have to, it can be a one layer card where all you've got to do is the sponging and the sentiment and keep it on white. I just couldn't, I tried so hard, but I couldn't resist using the not quite the Night of Navy as the backdrop. There you go. It's a fairly simple card. It's quite elegant and striking. And, you know, a few tips and pieces using the spritzer and the marker just to highlight some embossing. So I hope you have a wonderful Friday. Thanks for watching. Thank God it's Friday. And catch you again soon. Take care.